Before we dive in, drop a quick hi in the comments. It may seem small, but trust me, it really helps YouTube share this story with more sci-fi fans like us. I'd love to see who's watching.
Lieutenant Kyle Anders had watched the Dracorath tear through Seoul, too far away to fight, close enough to count every ship that burned. Earth had survived by a margin so thin it still screamed in his sleep. The edge of the Sol system was supposed to be quiet. Bastion Station had been built on that assumption. Early warning, first response, positioned between Jupiter's orbit and the outer dark, where nothing happened until it mattered. Anders sat at his console and watched nothing happen. Then his console beeped. Anders frowned. Probably debris. The system was still littered with wreckage from the battle. Dracorath hulls. Human ships that hadn't made it home. Every few hours, the sensors flagged something drifting through the outer approaches. He ran the diagnostic. The contact sharpened. Not debris, mass signatures. 47 of them. Coming in fast. Anders sat forward. His hands moved across the console, pulling detailed scans, FTL signatures, energy profiles, drive configurations he had never seen before. They dropped out of faster-than-light transit 3 million kilometers from Bastion Station, 47 ships, different sizes, different designs. Some looked like warships, others looked like transports. A few looked like they had been held together with salvage and desperation. Anders hit the alert. Red lights flooded the command deck. Captain Oren Sanders moved to Anders' station. Report. 47 contacts. Unknown configuration. They just dropped in at Grid Echo 7. Sanders studied the display. IFF? Broadcasting. Anders isolated the signal. His breath caught. Sir, they're using Thalakai diplomatic codes. Sanders went still. Thalakai? Yes, sir. Emergency protocols. Species-specific. Everyone on Bastion knew what Thalakai meant. Ambassador Teren, the diplomat who had died activating a human beacon. The species Earth owed a debt it could never repay. Sanders straightened. Send the contact package to Carthage. Flag it Priority 1. Then open a channel to the lead ship. Yes, sir. Anders transmitted the data burst toward Earth. Light minutes away, the UEDC Carthage would receive it shortly. Then he activated the communication array. Static hissed. Then a voice came through. Calm, steady speaking. Flawless human standard. Bastion Station. This is Ver Teren, commanding the Coalition fleet. We seek sanctuary. We seek leadership. We come in peace. Anders looked at Sanders. Sanders nodded. Coalition fleet. This is Bastion Station. Hold position. Do not approach inner system. Armed response is inbound. Acknowledge. A pause. Then, acknowledged. Bastion Station. We will hold position. Please inform General Carpenter that the son of Teren has arrived. And please inform him that the Dracorath Imperium is 1 month behind us. The channel cut. Sanders and Anders stared at each other. Then Sanders moved. Sound General Quarters, get me Carthage, now! Aboard the UEDC Carthage, General Floyd Carpenter stood in the flag bridge and read the report for the 3rd time. Thalakai codes, refugee fleet, Dracorath, 1 month out. He set the datapad down. Captain Hale Mercer stood beside him, silent. Mercer was younger, 44, sharp-eyed, pragmatic. He had been an intelligence analyst before the Dracorath came. Now he advised Carpenter on matters that went beyond fleet tactics and into the realm of impossible decisions. They came to us, Mercer said quietly. They followed the only species that answered when called. Carpenter stared at the tactical display. The refugee fleet hung at the system's edge, unmoving, waiting. How long until Ironfall and Hammer of Terra reach intercept position? 20 minutes. And the rest of the fleet? Mobilizing now. Destroyer screen deploying from Luna. Aegis ring is operational. Longbow platforms are tracking the contacts. Carpenter nodded. Earth had spent 6 months rebuilding, expanding, preparing for the next attack. The Aegis ring had been restored to 9 orbital platforms. Longbow Base on Luna now housed 8 kinetic launch stations. The fleet had grown from 40 ships to over 60. It still was not enough. "Sir." Mercer kept his voice neutral. "What are your orders?" Carpenter considered. 47 ships, unknown capabilities, unknown intentions. The smart play was to treat them as hostile until proven otherwise. The human play was to remember who had died so Earth could hear the call for help. "Weapons ready," Carpenter said. "But no first strike. Ironfall and Hammer of Terra establish perimeter. Destroyers hold at range. I want full sensor sweeps on every ship in that fleet. And get me a communication link to their commander." "Yes, sir." Mercer moved to relay the orders. Carpenter remained at the display. Somewhere out there, beyond the edge of detection, the Dracorath Imperium was coming. A retaliatory fleet. A vengeance armada. Earth had killed their supreme commander. That was not the kind of insult empires forgave. And now refugees had arrived asking Earth to lead. Carpenter had not asked for this. He had answered a distress call. He had defended his home world. He had done his duty. That duty had not included becoming the axis around which a broken galaxy reorganized itself. But here they were. The communication officer looked up. "Sir, link established. Audio only. Put it through." Static crackled. Then a voice filled the bridge. Steady, deliberate, carrying the faint harmonic overtones of Thalkai vocal structure. "General Carpenter, I am Ver Terren. 6 months ago, my father died activating a device you gave him. He trusted you. He believed humanity would answer. He was right." Carpenter closed his eyes briefly. Terren, the diplomat with the kind eyes and the patient voice, the one who had argued for Earth's inclusion in the Galactic Council for decades, the one who had died trying to warn them. "Your father was a good man," Carpenter said. "He was, and his last act was faith in yours." A pause. "General, I lead a coalition of 47 ships, 12 species, survivors, refugees, exiles. Some were slaves of the Dracorath. Others were political dissidents. A few were independent fighters who never surrendered. We are fractured. We are desperate. But we share one belief, that humanity is the only species capable of standing against the Imperium. We stood once. That does not mean we can stand again. The Dracorath do not agree. They are coming. A retaliatory fleet. Over 200 warships. They will arrive in 1 month. They will destroy Earth. Then they will hunt down every species that dared to flee toward you. Unless we fight together." Carpenter glanced at Mercer. Mercer's expression was grim. "You are asking us to lead," Carpenter said. "I am asking you to survive. Leadership is simply the cost." Silence filled the bridge. Outside the viewport, stars burned cold and distant. Earth hung below, blue and fragile. 8 billion people who had no idea what was coming. Carpenter made his decision. "Coalition fleet, you are cleared for anchorage at Luna. Approach at 1/4 thrust. Weapons cold. Any deviation will be met with immediate termination. Acknowledge." "Acknowledge, General. We are in your hands." The channel closed. "Sir," Mercer asked, "do we have any idea what we just let into the system?" "No." Carpenter turned from the viewport. "But we are about to find out. Alert Commander Sanders on the Ironfall. I want full tactical assessment of every ship in that fleet. And get Colonel Venn. I want Sigma Division ready." "You think we will need them?" "I think we need to be ready for anything." The Coalition fleet moved through the inner system like a procession of ghosts. Aboard the UEDC Black Horizon, Colonel Derek Venn stood at the observation deck and watched them approach. The stealth carrier hung in lunar orbit, positioned between the refugee fleet and Earth, ready to deploy, ready to strike. Venn had not slept well in 6 months. Sergeant Yusuf Smith stood beside him. Corporal Alexei Markov leaned against the bulkhead, silent as always. Corporal Thomas Reyes checked his demolition kit for the third time that hour. 4 men. There used to be 5. Ven's hand rested on the shotgun mag locked to his thigh. Whisper. Kowalski's weapon. The breacher had carried it for 8 years. Now Ven carried it. A reminder. A burden. "Sir!" Smith gestured toward the viewport. "Look at that mess!" The Coalition fleet was a disaster in motion. Ships of a dozen different designs struggled to maintain formation. A sleek Thalkai frigate drifted alongside a battered Krinthax transport. Velgar clan warships, gray, angular, aggressive, jockeyed for position near the front of the formation. A collision warning blared as 2 ships came within 50 meters of each other. "They cannot even fly straight," Reyes muttered. "They are refugees," Ven said, "not soldiers." "Then what are we supposed to do with them?" Ven did not answer. He watched a Velgar cruiser angle aggressively toward a Mirath colony ship. The Mirath vessel swerved, its bioluminescent hull flaring in what might have been fear or anger. The Velgar ship did not yield. Then Luna Traffic Control intervened. A terse broadcast. Both ships adjusted course. Smith shook his head. "This is what we are supposed to lead?" "Better question," Ven said quietly. "Can they even fight together?" Markov said nothing. He simply watched, waiting. Ven checked Whisper one more time. The shotgun felt heavier than it should. Kowalski's ghost rode every mission now, every boarding action. Each time Ven loaded tungsten flechette rounds, he heard the breacher's voice, "I will live." But he had not. "Sir." Smith's voice pulled Ven back. "Orders from Carthage. Carpenter wants us on standby. Full kit. Ready to deploy within 30 minutes. "He thinks there will be trouble?" "He thinks there might be." Ven nodded. "Gear up. Standard loadout. Reyes, bring extra charges. If we board one of those ships, I want options." "Yes, sir." The team moved. Efficiently. 4 men who had survived hell together and knew they would do it again. Ven remained at the viewport. Below, the Coalition fleet settled into lunar anchorage. He tightened his grip on Whisper. Kowalski had died, so Earth could win. Now Earth was being asked to lead. Ven was not sure which was harder. The meeting took place in Carpenter's private briefing room aboard the Carthage. Ver Terran arrived alone. He was slender, even for a Thalkai. His feathered crest was blue-green, carefully maintained despite months of flight. His amber eyes were calm, but carried the weight of something heavier than exhaustion. He wore simple diplomatic robes. No armor, no weapons. Carpenter met him at the door. They did not shake hands. Thalkai did not use the gesture. Instead, Ver inclined his head, and Carpenter returned the gesture. "General Carpenter, thank you for receiving me." "Your father earned that much." Carpenter gestured toward the table. "Sit." They sat across from each other. The room was small, functional. A tactical display showed the Coalition fleet in lunar orbit and the distant stars where the Dracorath would eventually emerge. Ver reached into his robes and withdrew a small data module. He placed it on the table. "Before my father entered the council chambers 6 months ago, he recorded a message for me. It was routine. He always did so before major sessions. He wanted me to know his intentions." Ver activated the module. A holographic projection flickered to life. Ambassador Terran appeared, older than Carpenter remembered, but still carrying that patient, gentle demeanor. The recording was brief. "Ver, I am about to enter the council chambers. Today I will speak for Earth again. They deserve a seat among us. Their potential is remarkable. Their integrity is genuine. When I return, perhaps I will have good news to share. Be well, my son." The projection ended. That was the last time I saw him. Hours later, the Dracorath came. The council fell. My father died. Carpenter nodded. Vare looked up. He activated your beacon. We intercepted fragments of the transmission before the station was destroyed. He trusted you. He believed you would answer. We did. I know. Vare's voice was steady. 6 months ago, I was a junior diplomat. I had never commanded a ship. I had never led anyone. Then the Dracorath glassed my homeworld. I watched it burn from orbit. 2 billion Thalkai. Gone. Because my father dared to help humanity. Carpenter's jaw tightened. The survivors looked to me, Vare continued, because I was his son, because he had believed in something larger than fear. So I gathered what ships I could. I found others, Krinthax, who had escaped slavery, Velgar clans who refused to submit, Myrath exiles who valued freedom over survival. We fled toward the only species that had ever resisted the Imperium, toward you. We did not ask to be followed. No, but you answered when called. That makes you our only hope of survival. Carpenter leaned back. You are asking us to lead a war we did not start. I am asking you to lead a war we will all lose if we fight it alone. Vare met his eyes. General, the Dracorath are coming. Not to conquer, to eradicate. They will destroy Earth, to prove that resistance is impossible. Then they will hunt every species in this fleet. More than 200 warships. 1 month. You cannot win alone. And you think 47 refugee ships will make a difference? I think 12 species who have studied Dracorath tactics for decades might teach you how to survive. I think coordination might give us a chance. I think leadership might turn desperation into strategy. Vare paused. My father believed humanity could unite a broken galaxy. Prove him right. Carpenter stared at the tactical display. Earth. Luna. The fragile ring of defenses humanity had built in 6 months. Beyond that, the dark, where an empire was coming. He reached into his jacket and withdrew a datapad. He set it on the table and activated the screen. The image showed a Dracorath soldier slumped against a console. Clutched in its clawed hand was a melted, half-destroyed device, a human emergency beacon. Colonel Venn recovered this from the throne of scales. Carpenter said quietly, one of the Dracorath took it from your father's body. A trophy. They did not know what it was. They carried it aboard their flagship. It melted in the fires when we destroyed the ship. Vare stared at the image, his crest flattened against his skull, a Thalkai expression of grief. Your father trusted us, Carpenter said. He died trusting us. That debt cannot be repaid, but it can be honored. Then honor it. Lead us. Carpenter looked at the tactical display one more time. The Coalition fleet, the distant stars, the weight of 8 billion lives and a galaxy's desperate hope. He made his decision. 1 month, he said. We have 1 month to turn refugees into an army. Vare inclined his head. Then we begin. 72 hours after the Coalition arrived, Luna orbit was chaos. Commander Isaac Cross stood on the Ironfall Bridge and watched 2 Velgar warriors fighting on a docking platform's exterior hull. The fight had started over docking priority. Someone want to explain why we are allowing combat in vacuum? Cross asked. His tactical officer shook her head. Velgar honor protocol, sir. Intervening would escalate the conflict. Cross opened a channel to Carpenter. Sir, we have a problem. The Coalition cannot agree on anything. Honor duels blocking access. Hive minds demanding consensus authority. Democratic protests against military command. This fleet will tear itself apart before the Dracorath arrive. Carpenter's voice came back steady. Assemble species representatives. Carthage conference room. 2 hours. 42 representatives squeezed into a room designed for 30. Carpenter let them argue for 5 minutes. Then he stood. Enough. You came asking for leadership. I am providing it. His voice was not loud, but the room went silent. The Dracorath are coming. When they arrive, they will eradicate every species in this system. We have one chance. We fight together, or we die separately. He gestured to Captain Mercer. You will present your capabilities. We will determine how to combine them. No votes, no consensus delays, no honor duels over tactics. Understood? Clan Captain Rykor rose, massive and scarred. My clans respect strength. You killed Vorak Dreth, but leadership must be demonstrated continuously. Velgar, do not follow words. We follow action. Then watch what we do, Carpenter said. Rykor's lips pulled back in what might have been a smile. He sat. The Krinthax representative clicked rapidly. The translator rendered it. Hive consensus is survival. We operated as one for 600 years under Dracorath rule. You survived because you obeyed, Carpenter said bluntly. Here, you will learn to act independently when necessary, and coordinate when required. A Myrath representative named Silas spoke, his translucent skin pulsing nervous gold. We value democratic process. Military autocracy is what we escaped. I am asking you to survive long enough to practice democracy. When the Dracorath arrive, there will be no time for debate. You can vote after we win, if we win. Carpenter looked around the table. Now, you came with technology. We need all of it. Vare? Vare stood. Thalkai sensor technology. We can identify fleet compositions at twice the range of human systems. Mercer made notes. Integration possible? With modification, yes. The Krinthax clicked. We offer intelligence. 600 years of forced labor taught us Dracorath systems intimately. Gravity shear emitters are powerful, but unstable. Concentrated kinetic impact at emitter nodes causes feedback overload. Carpenter leaned forward. Our railguns could exploit that. Correct. Precision required, but achievable. Rykor stood. Velgar offer combat experience and plasma-based weapons. Our warriors can train your soldiers in pack coordination. Carpenter nodded. Coordinate with Colonel Venn. Silas spoke last. Myrath contribute medical nanites and energy shield prototypes. Experimental, unstable. Power requirements exceeded our reactor capabilities. The room went still. Energy shields. But it works? Carpenter asked. In theory. Brief defensive bursts. 40 to 50 seconds maximum before overload. Carpenter turned to Mercer. Assign engineering teams. Human and Myrath. Integration trials start immediately. Silas's patterns pulsed red. General, this is dangerous. So is dying without trying. Luna Engineering Facility became Integration Central. Lieutenant Carla Perez worked with Thalkai engineer Kess, installing sensor arrays on the UEDC Vigilant. Days later, the upgraded sensors detected the Dracorath fleet. 217 warships. Closing steadily. Carpenter studied the data. Send it to all teams. They need to know what is coming. Krinthax engineers shared Dracorath weapon weaknesses. Velgar demonstrated plasma weapons, but power requirements were too high for ship integration. Corporal Reyes suggested miniaturizing them for Sigma Division breaching charges instead. Rykor approved. We will teach you to use them properly. The SHIELD project consumed Perez and Silas. Myrath technology required power human reactors could not sustain continuously. What if we pulse them? Perez suggested. Short bursts. Capacitors charge, release, recharge. Silas studied the design. That could work. But will it? Testing required. They built the prototype in 4 days. The UEDC Hammer of Terra tested it outside Luna orbit. Simulated plasma lances fired. The shields held for 47 seconds before capacitors drained. Perez exhaled. It worked. The second test lasted 89 seconds. Carpenter ordered immediate production. Retrofit Carthage, Ironfall, Black Horizon, and primary destroyer screen. Perez turned to Silas. Your technology just changed this war. Silas's patterns shifted to soft blue. We attempted this for years without success. You made it work in days. This is due to human adaptability. Ven tested Whisper 2 on the Black Horizon firing range against salvaged Dracorath armor plating from the first battle. Tungsten flechettes coated with Velgar plasma compound punched through the scales and detonated inside with thermal energy. Kowalski would have loved this. Distribute to the team, Ven ordered. I will carry both. The Coalition trained across the system. Velgar sparred with human marines. Krinthax rehearsed infiltration. Myrath integrated with field hospitals. Talkai worked with human navigators. It was messy and frustrating, but it was progress. Combined fleet exercises went poorly at first. Translation delays caused chaos. Velgar broke formation. Krinthax clustered defensively. Myrath debated mid-drill. Run it again, Carpenter ordered. They ran it 5 times. Each iteration improved. Translation delays decreased. Formations held longer. Decisions came faster. It was not good, but it was better. Late into the preparation, Carpenter and Vare stood on the Carthage observation deck, watching Luna orbit glow with activity. The tactical display showed the Dracorath fleet closing relentlessly. Time was running short, but humanity had never needed much time to adapt. The shields held. That changed everything. General Floyd Carpenter stood in the Carthage flag bridge watching the tactical display reconfigure. Every Coalition ship now carried updated profiles, shield-equipped vessels marked in blue, enhanced sensors in green, integrated weapons in amber. Captain Hale Mercer approached. Final readiness assessment, sir. 78% operational integration. Shield systems on 17 primary combat vessels. Thalkai sensors active fleet-wide. Krinthax sabotage protocols distributed. Coordination? Improved. Functional. Carpenter nodded. Assemble command staff. War Council. 1 hour. The conference room filled quickly. Vare Terren, Commander Cross, Colonel Ven, Clan Captain Rykor, Krinthax delegation, and Silas clustered around the tactical display. 217 Dracorath warships shone in red beyond detection range. Thalkai sensors confirmed final fleet composition, Carpenter said. Multiple assault waves. They arrive in less than 2 weeks. Commander Cross stood. Standard doctrine would position our fleet at Earth orbit. Meet them head on. That gets us killed. We are outnumbered 4-1. Direct engagement favors them. So we do not engage directly, Carpenter said. We use Saul's geography. Make them bleed for every approach. Defense layers appeared on the display. Outer perimeter, Velgar fast attack, and Thalakai reconnaissance. Harassment and intelligence. Slow their advance. Mid-system, human destroyer screen with Krinthax sabotage drones. Target emitter weak points. Inner defense, Carthage, Ironfall, Hammer of Terra at Earth. Luna range. Final line. He highlighted Luna's surface. Project Goliath. Experimental ultra-long-range mass driver. Untested. Ven spoke from the back. Decapitation strikes? Possible. If intelligence identifies their flagship and command structure, Sigma may deploy for boarding operations. Disable shields, cripple coordination. Create opening for the fleet. Ven nodded. We'll be ready. Rykor growled. You are letting them into the system. I am controlling where they fight. Rykor inclined his head. Respect earned. Deploy to positions. Combat readiness. 12 hours. Dismissed. Thousands of light-years away, War Commander Malgros the Relentless studied the tactical display. Sol system. 1 target. His sub-commanders waited in silence. Malgros was not like Vorak Dreth. Vorak had been large, aggressive, certain. He had ruled through intimidation and died underestimating prey. Malgros studied the humans differently. He had reviewed every fragment from the Battle of Sul, analyzed tactics, watched recordings. The humans were dangerous. Underestimating them was what killed Vorak Dreth. "Report," he rumbled. "The humans integrated coalition species, Thalkai sensors, Velgar tactics, shield technology. They are no longer fighting alone." Malgros's tail swept slowly. "They adapt quickly." "Vorak Dreth failed because he treated them as prey," Malgros said. "I will not repeat his mistakes. Alter fleet disposition. Deploy reconnaissance saturation. Map their defenses before we commit." "War Commander, this delays arrival. It ensures victory. I will not lose because I was impatient." The display flickered. Tyrannus Kurvoth materialized, younger than Vorak, fewer scars, eyes carrying desperation. "Malgros, the Imperium grows impatient. 6 months since Vorak fell. The galaxy watches. Every delay emboldens our enemies. Every day of preparation prevents repeating Vorak's failure." Kurvoth's jaws parted. "You question my orders? I follow them. Total extermination, but with certainty, not haste." "The traditionalists say I am weak. They demand immediate action. I am undefeated in 40 years of command. The traditionalists know politics, not war. If you wish me to succeed where Vorak failed, allow me to prosecute this war as I see fit." Silence. Kurvoth leaned forward. Total extermination. No survivors. No mercy. The transmission ended. Malgros turned to his subcommanders. "Advance the fleet. Send the scouts." The engagement began beyond Neptune's orbit. Thalkai frigate Clarity's Edge detected 12 Dracorath scouts, advancing in staggered formation. Carpenter opened fleet-wide channel. "All outer perimeter units engage. Velgar fast attack groups, maximum damage, minimum exposure." Rykor's voice crackled back. "My clans are moving." Bloodfang, Iron Claw, Stormhowl accelerated toward the scouts. 3 human destroyers followed. Talon, Reaper, Spearhead. The Velgar struck first. Bloodfang dove beneath formation, plasma cutters raking ventral hull. Iron Claw flanked above, concentrated fire, pack coordination. The Dracorath scout exploded. First blood. But 11 scouts responded instantly. Plasma lances lit void. Gravity shears tore space. Professional. Disciplined. Stormhowl took direct hit. Reactor breach. White fire. Gone. "Pull back," Rykor ordered his clans. Velgar ships broke formation. The scouts pursued into human firing solution. Talon, Reaper. Spearhead opened fire simultaneously. Railgun rounds crossed 3 million kilometers in seconds. The first scout's emitter exploded. Feedback cascade. Dead in void. Second scout lost weapons. Third took command section hit and tumbled. Talon took plasma hit, armor melting. Reaper rolled, presenting reinforced plating. Spearhead continued precise fire. Velgar ships circled back, harassing flanks. Pack tactics. 8 minutes after engagement began, 8 Dracorath scouts destroyed or crippled. 4 survivors fled. Casualties. Velgar lost Stormhowl. 37 warriors. Talon crippled. 15 human casualties. Rykor transmitted to Carpenter. 8 kills. Your tactics work. Carpenter's voice steady. Good. Let the new commander know we are ready. Aboard the Endless Hunger, Malgros received scout reports in silence. His sub-commanders waited for rage that would have come from Vorak. It did not come. Malgros studied data. Human precision. Velgar coordination. Integrated tactics. They are better than expected. Should we accelerate assault? No. They want us angry, reckless. He turned from display. Alter approach vectors. Full mapping before main fleet commits. That takes days. Then it takes days. The humans will die when I choose. On the Carthage flag bridge, Carpenter had been silent, reviewing battle footage. This new commander is different. Vorak would have charged after losing 8 ships. Carpenter turned to Mercer. Fleet-wide tactical revision. Assume Dracorath will counter current strategies. Prioritize unpredictability. We just achieved coordination. Now, introduce chaos. Introduce adaptation. Dracorath, fight with doctrine. We fight with improvisation. Project Goliath. Accelerate calibration, targeting solutions ready within 72 hours. Black horizon hung in Luna's shadow. Colonel Venn stood in the armory running final equipment checks. Krinthax sabotage drones, Velgar plasma charges, Myrath medical nanites, 12 Whisper 2 shotguns laid out in precise rows. Sergeant Smith entered. "Sir, the team is ready. What's the mission?" "Unknown until engagement begins. We prepare for everything." Smith nodded. Sigma Division did not plan for single scenarios. They prepared to adapt. Carpenter's voice came over the fleet-wide channel. "All personnel to battle stations. Fleet alert status raised to combat readiness. Stand by for enemy arrival." Venn racked the slide. Outside, Saul's defenses arrayed. Coalition fleet positioned. Velgar prowling outer approaches. They were not defending anymore. They were preparing to strike. The Dracorath fleet came like a storm made solid. Thalkai sensors detected the first distortions at the edge of the Kuiper belt. Gravitational displacement signatures so massive they bent predictive models out of alignment. Energy profiles followed. Then the ships themselves emerged from faster-than-light transit in perfect formation, an armada materializing with surgical precision. On the flag bridge of the Carthage, red contacts flooded the tactical display. General Floyd Carpenter stood at its center, hands clasped behind his back, watching the enemy fleet take shape as if Sol itself were being infected. Captain Mercer stepped in close. "Coalition intelligence confirms the flagship. Dracorath command vessel Endless Hunger. New war commander identified. Malgros the Relentless." "Malgros," Carpenter said quietly. The fleet advanced, not with the blunt aggression Vorak Dreth had favored, but with disciplined restraint. This was a commander who expected resistance and had already accounted for it. Carpenter opened the fleet-wide channel. "All outer perimeter forces, engage at discretion. Velgar fast attack groups. You have operational authority. Thalkai reconnaissance units. Maintain sensor coverage and provide targeting data. Objective is harassment. Force dispersion. Maximum disruption." Recor's growl answered immediately. "My clans move now. We will draw first blood." "Make it count," Carpenter said. The Coalition's outer screen accelerated to meet the enemy 3 million kilometers beyond Neptune's orbit. Velgar ships struck first. Bloodfang and Iron Claw plunged beneath the Dracorath formation, plasma cutters tearing across destroyer screens in coordinated pack dives. Shadowfang flanked high, raking exposed engine clusters. Thalkai frigates held back, feeding targeting data to human destroyers with relentless precision. The first Dracorath destroyer died hard, hit from 3 vectors at once, shields collapsing, hull rupturing as atmosphere vented into the void. "First kill!" Rykor roared. "Press!" The answer came instantly. Dracorath destroyers held formation. Fire overlapped. Plasma lances converged on Shadowfang. Her shields endured seconds, then failed. The reactor breached. The ship vanished in white fire. 41 Velgar warriors were gone before the debris finished expanding. "Pull back!" Rykor snarled. "Reform!" Velgar ships disengaged cleanly, withdrawing along angles the Dracorath did not chase. They didn't need to. Human destroyers opened fire from range. Railgun rounds crossed the void. Tungsten penetrators striking gravity shear emitters exactly where Krinthax intelligence said they would break. 2 Dracorath ships lost close-range capability in cascading overloads. Then, point defense grids activated, kinetic interceptors tearing incoming rounds apart mid-flight. Not perfect, effective enough. Commander Cross's voice cut in. "They've hardened emitter defenses. Our advantage is degraded, roughly 40%. Carpenter didn't look away from the display. "All outer forces disengage. Fall back to secondary positions. Do not extend." The Dracorath fleet advanced methodically, clearing the outer approaches without pursuit or waste. "He studied us," Carpenter said. "The fighting didn't stop. It spread." Over the following cycle, engagements blurred into a grinding series of mid-range clashes across millions of kilometers. Human destroyers fought running battles against Dracorath battle groups. Velgar clans bled ship by ship. Thalkai scouts pushed their sensors to failure. The Talon was destroyed during a withdrawal maneuver, 17 minutes under sustained plasma fire. 143 crew lost. The Spearhead limped back to Luna with a shattered reactor core, combat ineffective. The Reaper held the line alongside Stormkiller and Broken Talon for 6 hours. Stormkiller didn't survive. Broken Talon lost propulsion. Reaper withdrew with most of her ammunition expended. Krinthak's sabotage drones launched in waves. Some penetrated, disabling shields, corrupting targeting systems, but most were intercepted. Anti-infiltration protocols adapted quickly. Myrath medical teams worked without pause. Nanites saved lives. They couldn't save time. And the Dracorath kept coming. Relentless, adjusting, advancing. On the Carthage, the flag bridge felt like a sealed chamber watching its air run out. Carpenter called an emergency command meeting. The room was tight with tension. Ver Terran sat rigid, crest drawn close. Cross stood near the tactical display. Mercer reviewed casualty projections. Rykor entered last, armor stained dark with dried blood. "Report," Carpenter said. Cross didn't soften it. 3 human destroyers lost, 2 crippled. Velgar losses, 5 ships destroyed, 3 damaged. Thalkai, 1 frigate lost. Krinthak's drone effectiveness down to 30%. We are losing the exchange. Rykor's voice was raw. "You promised wounds. Instead, we bleed." Silas's bioluminescence flared. "This cannot continue. We should consolidate at Earth." The Krinthak's delegation clicked. Fractured consensus. Carpenter let the noise rise. Then he stood. "You're right," he said. Silence fell. "This strategy is failing. Malgros adapted faster than we anticipated. If we continue, we lose everything before Earth becomes relevant." Rykor leaned forward. "Then speak. A gamble." Mercer activated the display. Luna's surface filled the air. An immense installation carved into a crater, power conduits radiating toward a weapon that dwarfed anything mounted on a ship. "Project Goliath," Carpenter said. "Ultra-long-range kinetic accelerator, 1 shot, 50-ton tungsten projectile, effective across millions of kilometers." Cross frowned. "1 shot? 90 seconds to fire. 12 hours to recharge." Silas's patterns dimmed. Against a moving fleet? "Against the flagship," Carpenter said. "Decapitation." Ver spoke softly. "If we can hit it." "We won't," Mercer said. "Not unless Malgros commits." Carpenter nodded. "Which he will, if we convince him he's winning." A staged retreat. Real losses. Endless hunger moving forward to coordinate the kill. "If we miss?" Cross asked. Carpenter glanced at Ven standing against the wall. "Sigma boards the flagship." Ven didn't blink. "We will not miss our part." Rykor studied Carpenter for a long moment. "You ask Velgar to retreat. I ask you to win." Silence. One by one, they nodded. Rykor's claws tapped the table once. The Krinthaks clicked assent. Silas's glow faded to reluctant violet. Ver inclined his head. Carpenter activated the fleet-wide channel. "All ships, new operational orders incoming. We are executing a staged withdrawal to inner system defenses. This is bait. We will draw the Dracorath forward. Casualties are expected. Victory is possible." He closed the channel. "We have 1 shot," he said. "Let us make it count." The endless hunger moved into position. From the bridge of his flagship, War Commander Malgros the Relentless watched the human defenses contract toward Earth orbit. Velgar ships withdrew in staggered groups, firing as they fell back. Human destroyers traded long-range fire and yielded ground. Thalkai frigates peeled away, their sensor feeds thinning. It looked like collapse. Malgros did not mistake desperation for incompetence. The humans had fought well, adapted quickly, coordinated species that should never have worked together. But pressure, sustained long enough, broke even clever prey. He turned to his command staff. All battle groups advance, final assault positions, fleet coordination authority remains centralized. The endless hunger settled into a stationary command posture, its vast system synchronizing 200 warships into a single, lethal instrument. Malgros watched the final targeting cycle begin. 4 minutes. On Luna, deep within the crater housing Project Goliath, Lieutenant Carla Perez stood at her console and ignored the tremor in her hands. Target locked. Trajectory stable. Margins unacceptable. But holding. Goliath ready, she transmitted. Carpenter's voice came back calm, unadorned. Fire. Perez initiated the sequence. Luna's power grid collapsed in a controlled cascade. Lights died across the moon as emergency systems took over. The accelerator rails flared with contained lightning, energy screaming through structures never meant to endure it. The tungsten penetrator launched. 50 tons of metal accelerated to a fraction of light speed and vanished into the void. Alarm screamed aboard the endless hunger. Incoming mass signature, extreme velocity. Malgros turned, already knowing. The humans had one more weapon. They had waited until he committed. Shields surged to full power. Triple layers flared. The penetrator punched through the first shield without slowing. The second failed catastrophically. The third collapsed under forces no design doctrine accounted for. Impact. The flagship did not explode. It came apart. Armor vaporized. Internal structures failed in cascading collapse. Reactor conduits ruptured. Gravity stuttered and surged. Malgros was thrown from his command throne as the bridge shattered around him. When the shaking ended, smoke filled the air. Emergency lighting flickered. His tactical display still functioned long enough to show him the truth. Shields, gone. Propulsion, crippled. Command systems, fragmented. He had been baited. Transfer coordination authority, Malgros ordered, hauling himself upright. Independent engagement. Continue the assault. This battle was not yet lost. Sigma Division launched into chaos. Colonel Derek Venn watched the feeds update as their pods cut through debris and weapons fire. The endless hunger was crippled, but the fleet was still fighting, and coalition assets were dying. Cross's voice cut through the channel. Thalkai frigate Clarity's Edge is disabled. Dracorath closing. Crew trapped. Sigma, can you extract? Venn did not hesitate. Affirmative. The pods redirected. Clarity's Edge was already dying. Venn led the breach, Whisper 2 raised, moving through smoke and drifting bodies. Emergency lighting painted the corridors red. Thalkai crew clustered around the wounded, holding a discipline born of training and desperation. We're getting you out, Venn said. Move. Dracorath boarding teams cut in moments later. The fighting was brutal and close. Plasma scorched bulkheads. Whisper 2 tore through armored bodies at meters distance. Markov's rifle cracked with precision from Overwatch. They held the corridor. They paid for it. 3 operators fell, covering the evacuation. There was no time to mourn, only to keep moving. The last pod detached as Clarity's Edge broke apart under concentrated fire. 42 Thalkai lived. Sigma did not leave intact. The battle reached its breaking point around the dying, endless hunger. Human capital ships advanced, railguns hammering exposed hull. Velgar pack ships struck in coordinated fury, plasma cutters carving through weakened armor. Thalkai, targeting data, held the line together by sheer exhaustion, and will. Krinthak's drones swarmed, sowing failure across Dracorath systems. The flagship was coming apart. Malgros watched from auxiliary command as his fleet fractured without him. Some ships fought on, others began to disengage. He had seconds to choose. Pride had killed Vorak Dreth. Malgros chose survival. All remaining ships, he ordered, voice flat. Disengage, withdraw. The Dracorath fleet broke and ran. Aboard the Carthage, Carpenter watched the tactical display shift as enemy contact scattered. "Do we pursue?" Cross asked. Carpenter looked at his own fleet, damaged, depleted, bleeding. "No," he said. "Let them go." Saul still stood. That was enough. Body bags lined the hangar on the black horizon. Ven stood among them, still in armor. 3 more names, 3 more faces. Smith spoke quietly. "Extraction successful." Ven nodded once. No words. There weren't any that mattered. It had cost exactly what survival always did. Far beyond Sul, Malgros reviewed the data he carried with him. The humans adapted under pressure.
Hey there, space human. I'm really curious about your thoughts on this video. Drop a quick comment and let me know what's on your mind. Or just say hi if you prefer. Either way, I'd love to hear from you. Also, remember to check the pinned comment. Trust me, it's worth a look. Oh, and one last thing. I've chosen another video for you to watch. Just click the card here, or here if you want the whole playlist. See you there.